Howdy, Cowboy Gamer here, and today I am going to be speculating and preparing you for the up-and-coming game being released by Nintendo, Niantic, and the Pokemon Company. And as everyone should have guessed by now, that game is Pokemon Go. First off, lots of hype about this. News only came out last week. Already people are talking about it on podcasts, YouTube channels. A ton of people are speculating. Even with the lack of knowledge, people are throwing it out. I'm going to also throw in my 2 cents. A lot of my speculation is grounded on lots of different sources, not just sources of little notes and stuff or press conference, but also I'm basing a lot of my ideas off of the game, of the Pokemon games in general, and all my playtime with them, and Niantic's game Ingress, which this game is very similar to in many ways, or at least it's sounding like it. Plus, it's one of the games that has the closest concept that Niantic has made. Niantic is the one creating this game pretty much, and then the others are backing mostly. But it sounds like Niantic has the major part that they're helping with this game, and then other people are doing work with them and fine-tuning it. That is why I'm basing a lot of this on Niantic's game Ingress. So, I'll leave some of the speculation kind of throughout, but I'll also be jumping into speculation. I'll just throw it in randomly. But on a preparation level, the first thing that you should probably be working on right now is building the community in your area. You are going to need people to battle with, to trade with, and possibly raid, unless raiding is technically an event like in Ingress where you have to go somewhere. So if it is a centralized or anywhere kind of location, it'll be a lot easier, but you're gonna need people. So definitely start finding your friends, find anyone that plays Pokemon in your area. Maybe start a Facebook group. Definitely join the Pokemon Go Facebook group, but start a Facebook group for your city. See if you can get other people to join. That will help you out immensely. Also for the community, you don't have to just find people that like Pokemon. A couple of my friends just like to go for walks, and if they can kind of play a game and go for a walk at the same time, they're all for it. So that's how I'm kind of getting people involved in this. Second thing for preparation, you need to know the area you are going to be in. Know places you might be going over time. Will you be going to Grandma and Grandpa's, your parents' house, where you live, your school, community areas, malls. Know all the areas that are in your area that you can get to easily. Like even parks, for instance. All of these are going to be important because it sounds like you will be able to go to urban areas. It doesn't say how urban. There may be even commercial areas. There was no catching of Pokemon inside a building that we have seen yet, but that doesn't mean it's not a possibility. Know your starting areas, where you're going to start at. Pick these areas based primarily probably on, does it have free Wi-Fi, hence maybe your home. This is going to be important since data is going to play a factor in this game. It might not play a huge factor, but unless you have free data, you're going to be wanting to pay attention to this. So start hopefully at your home base and go from there. Also look for areas in areas that might be good, near parks that have free Wi-Fi that you can just go close to, borrow, use it to get an idea of where the next Pokemon is, so you're not always needing to use all that data. Parks are going to be great importance. From a small little statement, it sounds like being near water in some cases might help you find a Squirtle or others. In their statement, they were talking about San Francisco on the bay and by the ocean, but I'm sure if there are lakes on Google Maps, which is being incorporated into this and used. It may be completely changed, but it's still basing a lot of this off of the Google Maps. So if it's showing water in Google Maps, water may incorporate, and you might be able to find a water Pokemon. Colleges are also going to be great sources, giant open areas, as well as lots of people. School systems, however, pay attention to the school system. Some schools are designated as private property, and if you're in certain areas without identification and badges to prove that you are a student or a staff member, you can get trespassing, so you don't want to be breaking the laws. Also, no areas near parks, near walkways, that are houses that have no trespassing zones. There would be nothing worse than to go find out that there's a Pokemon so many meters away and find out it's 25 meters onto private property that you can't get to. So, definitely an important area of something to note, at least. You will also need possibly some supplies based off of how far you are willing to go. Are you going to be a person that's just going to walk for maybe 30 minutes away from their home and then walk back? Are you going to do this more as you go out to the malls, shopping, different things, and you're just going to walk by Pokemon? Or are you going to actually turn this into an exercise, a quest, like your day off, get a couple of people together, and you're going to go out for a walk for like a couple hours? If that's the case, backpack, some sort of container with water bottles, whatever, pop if you really want to go that route, Gatorade, stuff like that. Granola bars, always great. Hat for sunny. Hiking boots may be important. A lot of people are just going to go out in tennis shoes. However, if there are Pokemon closer to lakes, ponds, rivers, it might even be in swampier areas. You might have to get into a little bit of muck to get close enough to be able to throw a Pokeball. Sunscreen, depending on how long you're out, and always remember your phone charger, just in case you start getting to a low battery and you get to a public area that has public outlets. Now let's get to a little bit more of the game mechanics that are going to be involved with this game, or at least I believe are going to be involved. What was shown in the trailer? We know we can catch Pokemon, and we know we have access to a Pokeball. Now, the chance that you're going to catch certain levels of Pokemon will probably vary based on the Pokemon level, and the Pokeball being the lowest level probably won't have the greatest chance, but it'll probably catch those lower level Pokemon. The one thing that really is a big point of contention right now is if you are on a walk and you have multiple people that have Pokemon Go, who gets the Pokemon, or can everyone catch it? That is super important right now. I would assume that it is the latter, because otherwise, if there's a Pokemon out in the wild, then one person goes there, throws a Pokeball, catches it. Somehow your phone has to relay that back to the server, which then relays it to everyone else's phone and makes the Pokemon disappear. Depending on how far the Pokemon are and how many people are in your area, that could really cause impact, especially if you and a bunch of people in your area are all trying to play the same game. You all chose the same time. You go out and one of you goes to one spot, catches the Pokemon, and 3 other people were on their way. They were just like 100 meters away, around a block or so, and they weren't there yet. All of a sudden the Pokemon disappears and it's like, oh, and everyone's sad. So I'm hoping it's the latter and that multiple people could still catch that Pokemon. In the Pokemon trailer, we only saw Gen 1. This is perfectly fine. Gen 1 is the most noticeable, most understood Pokemon by multiple generations. The older generations, people that loved Pokemon and really wanted something like this, that wanted Pokemon in real life, understood and they play Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on the Game Boy. That's why this works perfectly in the trailer. However, I highly doubt that is what it is going to end up. There will probably be updates which will add more Pokemon. There's also been some speculation on certain continents will get certain types of Pokemon, or not types, but certain Pokemon, and then there could be, over the course of time, those Pokemon could rotate around continents, so your continent does not always just have the same 50 Pokemon available, because that would get really boring if you could catch the 50. The goal is to catch all of them. That way, that means that you should have access and the ability to catch all of them. Or at least a lot of them. Experience. Experience has to matter in this game. Pokemon have levels, as well as a trainer had a level, if you could catch it in the video. I actually only caught it because I watched a Rewind Theater by IGN, and they paused it at a perfect time, and I noticed that one of the people that was battling had a name attached to him, and a level attached, and it was not the Pokemon level. It was the trainer level. So, trainers are going to gain experience. This is the same in Ingress. How you gain experience is multiple different ways. You could do it probably by the more Pokemon you catch increases your level. Higher level Pokemon doing certain things. They could have, like, do this, this, and this, progress to level 2. Whatever. In Ingress, this matters because you are trying to find portals, and at level 1, you can only see a portal within so many meters of you. At level 2, the range increases. So, what this could mean for the Pokemon Go is that at level 1, maybe you only see Pokemon within 250 meters of you, so you actually have to walk a larger area, and it doesn't just you see on a map and zoom out a mile and be like, well, there's 50 Pokemon, there's more over in this area. Having the level then makes you, or a better level allows you to see larger Pokemon, or see where a larger concentration could be. Higher level levels could also show you higher level Pokemon. At level 1, you might only be able to see any Pokemon in your area that is a level 1 to 10. Whereas maybe a Pokemon Trainer level 2 could see levels 1 through 20 instead. Multiple different ideas. Leveling up your trainer could also increase your chance of capturing a Pokemon with each Pokeball. So this can all be major, but we do know there are levels in trainers, so there's definitely going to be ways of gaining experience or going up in level. Pokemon are also going to have experience. Every Pokemon in this video has had a level. Levels in Pokemon denote when it evolves and moves that it may get. This game has to have evolution. Otherwise, it would be no fun. It is a standard in all Pokemon games. How it works, we do not know. It could just be you do something with your Pokemon, gain experience, and then you have the choice of evolving it. Pokemon will gain experience with a couple of different ways. One, like in all games, battling with other Pokemon gets them experience. This shouldn't be the only way to gain experience. There should be multiple ways, because there's no guarantee that you are going to have friends to battle with unless you can battle on an online network at any time with your Pokemon. Like in a few couple Pokemon games, walking, the Pokewalker was an important feature. Pokemon Plus and your phone is going to show you how far it is to a Pokemon. If you get there, you have probably traveled that many meters, so they're going to be able to track how far you were going with the GPS. So that could translate to experience to the trainer or to the Pokemon. Possibly can feed them items. We know there are multiple items. If you got a ton of extra, maybe you can feed them to Pokemon and use them to level up. You could also, as an in-game purchase, probably buy experience or experience plus, like for a certain time, all experience gained actually is 2 times the amount of experience instead of just the regular amount. Items. We know there are Pokeballs, which I assume are going to be completely free, because that would be ruin the game if you had to buy Pokeballs, since they're the lowest form of a ball. We know there are Great Balls that was shown in the video. This will probably be given as a reward and be in-game in-app purchase. Ultra Ball was also shown, same thing, probably able to be in-app purchase or be a reward. Honey, same as before with all the other items I'm talking about, probably used to attract other Pokemon or multiple Pokemon to you, making your trip you don't have to walk as far. And then Super Potion, which usually is a way of healing Pokemon, so I don't know if it'll be in battle you are able to use a Super Potion, or if it's more of a use afterwards, but that would mean that your Pokemon would still be damaged, so possibly you aren't able to battle again till it rests for so long or goes to the server and sleeps and rejuvenates. Who knows? Having a high-level Pokemon with a lot of damage, you might have to have Super Potions to heal it up. We know there is trading. If you are going to be doing trading, I definitely recommend finding an area with free Wi-Fi, because trading is going to have to be over a network, and again, it is data that is being transferred, so free Wi-Fi definitely useful. Also, malls are going to be great in that instance, and have your battery chargers so you can sit there and trade and charge your phone at the same time. Battling, same case. Find areas that have free Wi-Fi and have plugs for charging if possible. There is the possibility that battling could be in set locations. There's no idea on that yet. A couple people have speculated it, but that would be another way to get you out to a certain area, and that's the only place that battles can be done. Again, that's problematic because it's forcing you to go somewhere specifically, an area that you might not want to go to. They should be pretty nice parks, different things like that, like shown in the video, but you're going to a place where you are forced to use data and there may not be Wi-Fi. Again, the main audience is going to be a lot more in Japan than it is in America. As much as Pokemon has blown up in America, it is still primarily in Japan. Japan uses mobile games a lot more than America, and unfortunately, Wi-Fi is prevalent in Japan, not in America. There are still places that you will not get access to Wi-Fi, so you'll be stuck using your data. One thing that we know also that is happening is raiding. I am going to have to go to Ingress for most of this. I am going that raiding will probably be a major event. It will be just like in the trailer, major cities. They did Times Square, and I'm thinking there will be a website, just like in Ingress. It says, hey, this month, these major cities all have events. Go there. That's where you'll get your event. And that's what I'm thinking they're going to choose. It'll be all over the world, multiple places over the course of the year, and it'll just rotate around, but you will have to travel a larger distance unless you're in a major metropolitan city to get to these raids. It would be great. I think it would be horrible to do a raid in only the major cities in America, since I am in the middle of nowhere. It takes 6 hours just to get to, or 4 hours to get to Chicago. And that's pretty much the main area, or Minneapolis, and those are the two closest areas that I'm probably going to have a raid at. So I'm not looking super forward to taking a day off work, traveling all the way to a major event just to do a raid. I'll probably still do it if it happens, but yeah, just like I usually don't pay for free-to-play games, I usually don't throw money into them, but for the first time in a long time, if this game turns out half as good as it's looking, or half as good as I'm speculating, I might be perfectly fine putting $20 into a mobile game, because if I'm getting exercise, if I'm getting going out walking, out in the sun, experiencing the world around me, that is worth a lot to me, and it's worth more than just any other mobile game that I'm just sitting in my house doing nothing. Biggest thing that you have to worry about in this entire thing is data and battery life. This is going, depending on how much this game uses with notifications and data, those are two things that you have to keep an eye on. When this starts, I recommend going out for maybe 30 minutes, or choose a amount of distance you want to travel, and go out, see how probably if you're good in distance, about 250, 300 meters away. Go there and then walk back, see how much, if you have a good percentage, and see how much your battery life is drained, see how much data was used at that time. Because hopefully this game doesn't use much. They find out ways of making it so it's not checking with the GPS and Google Maps every single meter you walk. Hopefully they find ways around where it checks like every 10 meters or something, but on Google Maps, whenever you check into Google Maps the first time or resize the map, you are sending out around, on average, 750 kilobytes per second. Now, for those of you that don't understand data as much as I do, if you were on a 2 gigabyte plan per month, that means that you're going to have 2,666 checks on Google Maps on a data plan that you do not have access to Wi-Fi. There is no way that they're only going to have that many checks if you're walking around out in the world. Otherwise, a person, even at every 5 meters, you are easily killing most of your data, and that's not to say that you're not using data for other things. You're destroying your entire month worth of data in a week, maybe 2, depending on how much you want to do this. That's not also to mention that if how much this uses in the background, since battles could happen if you're just out and about in a normal day, this game might be keeping track of that. So, because if a random battle could occur and someone comes across you and finds you just out in the world, then your Pokemon might get battled without you even knowing, because you really don't have data to be checking, or you need to shut off your phone. But there are tons of ways to decrease the amount of data being used. I'm sure using Niantic, who already has a game based off a similar system, and you have Nintendo and Pokemon, they want to make it good for kids, and if you're draining your parents' data on their phones or kids' phones, parents aren't going to like this, because they're just going to rack up the money on the parents' phone bill, and that's going to be hated, which is going to make parents not want their kids using their phone, which will decrease the amount of people playing this. So, major thing. But, however, it's still going to be a good game, and I don't doubt that these people can figure out how to do it. Now, on to other news and release date. Now, they have announced that over the next couple of weeks they will put out more information on Pokemon Go, so hopefully all this speculation that I'm doing a lot of it gets answered, but we don't know how much they will put out for news. There is a closed beta the end of 2015. They have not specified how you get into this, who has access to it, what type of people, but I know I'm going to try and tweet them, send a letter, do something, and show how much I am preparing the community, with my Facebook page at least, and trying to set this up, so I'm going to see if I can get involved in it. I still haven't figured out how much I want to be involved with this closed beta. I like to be the tester. I have no problem with that. However, like most closed betas, you get access to a lot of awesome things, and when the game starts, it all goes away. So any time and effort you would have put into it, all goes away. Sad, but that's the way betas are. Now, release date. No one has speculated on this yet. No one has said a peep. No one wants to be the person that is wrong. I have no problem in being wrong in this instance, and I think I have an idea of a date, and that is going to be spring 2016. They have announced it will be coming out in 2016. Spring is the best time to pull that off. Why? First off, spring in Europe, Japan, and America is all about the same time. We're all looking at March, April. This game is going to be the biggest in Japan, next in probably America, and last in Europe. Australia, South America, all the other areas are probably going to be a lot less of a percentage, probably only 10 to 15% around the entire world compared to the other 3 major areas. Which is sad, but Wi-Fi phones just aren't as prevalent as in America, Europe, and Eastern Asia areas. So, I am sticking with the March, April. It is just perfect because you want a game that is encouraging people to leave their homes, go out, walk, feel the sun on their face, and you're not going to choose a winter time to release this game or possibly a fall, because if you do that, you're going to put the game out, and then in a couple of short weeks or a month or so, it's going to start snowing, getting cold. People aren't going to want to go out anymore. If you choose the spring, the snow is melted. People are cold or have been cold all a few winter months. They don't want to be stuck inside anymore. They want to get out already. They're already encouraged to go outside, and this is just one more reason to go outside and play a game outside. So that is why I'm sticking with the March, April announcement. It's perfectly fine also with Nintendo. Reggie announced at E3 that they really only want to do stuff and announce stuff about 6 months out in advance. It's not completely true. Multiple companies still do larger things, but Nintendo says currently they only want to do stuff about 6 months out. So, as of this moment, that puts this game, according to my idea, about 6, 7, 8 months out right now at the March-April timeline, which I have no problem with, perfectly fine, and I'm looking forward to it. So, that is Cowboy Gamer, preparing you and continuing the hype for Pokemon Go.